Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here. We are doing Social and Emotional Intelligence Week here in the Intentional Growth Club. And I know I'm a little bit late getting on, but if you've noticed, I've been posting some files in the forum. If you go into the units, and I think it ended up landing in Unit 7, which may end up changing as we work through this. But I am so happy to be here with you this morning to talk about social and emotional intelligence and why I decided to be a social and emotional intelligence coach. So I hope that you take a few minutes to hang out with me. We're going to probably spend about 10 to 12 minutes talking about social and emotional intelligence. We'll do a quick overview. I'm going to pull up some slides so you can actually see some things. We're going to use the tools I just posted in the units to really work through some things today in social and emotional intelligence. And I think I'll just go ahead and start by reminding everyone by attending live today and posting for one of my challenges, you'll be entered to win not this copy of Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence, but a nice clean copy that doesn't have all the tabs and marked up pieces. But you'll be able to be entered to win that. The other thing, I've got a surprise for you. So those of you who are willing to really dive into your social and emotional intelligence, become more self-aware this week, you could be entered to win an even bigger, fantastic prize. So let me do my best in sharing my screen as we are live. And let's see here. Gave me tips. You know, that's always fun, isn't it? So I am going to share my screen. Share. But I first need to actually get to my PowerPoint. Oop, and we're going to start here. Slideshow beginning. And so what we are doing right now with the slideshow is hopefully you're seeing the fact that I'm kicking off Social and Emotional Intelligence Week, and I'm just reminding everyone that you have the opportunity to be able to be entered to win a prize. And the key thing with the prize, of course, is, like I said, is the book, but I've got a surprise prize for you as well. And that means that you want to hang out with me to learn about that. So let me go through my slideshow real quick. And we're going to talk first of all, some of you may not know, I am a social and emotional intelligence certified coach. And what that simply means is that I did some coursework, and I've also been staying in a mastermind for over 2 years in regards to growing my social and emotional intelligence. I've done a lot of other things. I always say that the most important thing about this slide is that I am part of the AA club called Awesome Ant. So social emotional intelligence can be defined this way, and it is simply the ability to be aware of our emotions and those of others in the moment and use that information to manage ourselves and manage our relationships. So I hope that you all caught that. It's the ability to be aware of our emotions and those of others. So the emotional piece, of course, is our emotions. Those of others is that social element in that moment, and to use that information to not only manage ourselves, but manage our relationships. There is a 4-quadrant model we use at ISEI, which is the Institute for Social and Emotional Intelligence, and it goes along like this. There's a self column and there's an other column, and you're going to see awareness and management. What we're going to do today is hang out in both these in the self column, and we'll probably pretty much stay there for the entire week. And the self column, you'll see it says self-awareness. Well, self-awareness is highly important for ourselves. And then self-management is also a very important element that we need to work on. And what I love about social and emotional intelligence is that it's not like a personality program where you get this assessment and you get this answer and it says you're this. Social and emotional intelligence says, here's where your strengths are, and here's where some opportunities are. And because it's all behavior-based, you have the opportunity to do what? You have the opportunity to improve. So you're not stuck. You're not in a box. You're not, this is who I am and I'll never change when it comes to social and emotional intelligence. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. The surprise I have for you is that over the week, as people post for a special post that I've identified for what I call the SEEP, and that is the Social and Emotional Intelligence Assessment tool that I use, the Social and Emotional Intelligence Profile. This is the personal profile, so it's you answering the questions about you, your assessment, and then there's a debrief that comes along with that. So what you'll find in this surprise gift is it's valued over $250. It's not only my time, but it's the cost of the tool that I am gifting to some person for free this week by actively participating and working on your social and emotional intelligence. So woohoo, yay, another surprise gift. So let's first dive into emotional self-awareness. That's under that bucket of self-awareness in our 4-quadrant model. And emotional self-awareness can simply be defined as recognizing one's emotions and their effects. And the best way to be able to figure out and self-aware and self-assess is simply to be able to do a feelings inventory. So I did download this tool, a tool that that's called Taking Stock of Your Emotions. That is this tool right here, and it is in your files, in your units. I had to think of that for a second there. So if you look at the screen right now, you're going to see this feelings inventory. If you look at the left side, you're going to see kind of a kind of high level emotion, but then you're going to see the feelings that kind of go under that high level emotion. So you'll see, like, under fear, there's nervous, restless, dreading, worried, afraid, and under shame, there's humiliated, embarrassed. Under happy, there's joyful, blissful, amused, delighted, triumphant, lucky. So I want you to do this right now. This is my in the live post now for your chance to be entered to win the book. And I want you to name the emotion you're feeling right now. So that first piece is being aware of our emotions. What are we feeling right now? So I'm going to give everyone just a couple of minutes to think about that. I'm not going to pause the video, or I'm not going to stop sharing the screen, but please make sure that when you post, put book entry post and name that emotion you're feeling right now. Now, if I were working with you one-on-one, what we would do is, once we name that emotion, we work a little harder in regards to being sure that we are able to identify the whys and, maybe what happened preceding that emotion, the emotion you're feeling. Was there an event? And then we would also think about other things like, how are you feeling in your body? And a couple of weeks ago, we had Susie Shank on in the IGC, and what we were talking about in regards to stress and how it shows up in our body, that is where you're going to do this assessment too. You're not going to just look at what the emotion is and name it. You want to go further than that. You want to be able to figure out what happened, why am I feeling this way, how is it showing up in my body? And then once you identify that information, you then have the opportunity to move it to the next step, which is figuring out what you do with that emotion. So that is our emotional self-awareness. Again, this is for the book entry post. So name the emotion you're feeling right now. And what we're going to do as an exercise, what I loaded in the units, is this taking stock of your emotions. I encourage you over this next week to do that. Take stock of your emotions and answer those questions about how you're feeling. In the document that I've loaded in the files, not only do you have the ability to name the emotion, the feelings inventory is there for you, but there is a daily emotional assessment. So it goes from morning to night, from 7 a.m. to pretty much 7 p.m. for 12 hours. Every few hours, you can take stock of your emotions. And it asks you, what are you doing? What's that feeling? And then what's your body sensation? And I would love to know the results of those of you that actively use this tool over the next week to grow in your social and emotional intelligence. The next thing I want to talk about is intentionality. So we were going to cover two competencies today. Emotional self-awareness. Self-awareness is kind of our foundation of social and emotional intelligence. Intentionality is the next social and emotional intelligence competency I want to talk about. And it moves into that self-management category. And it's actually the last competency, I believe, in that category for ISCI's grid, the 4-quadrant model. But so we're going to kind of begin with the end in mind. And so intentionality is thinking and acting on purpose and deliberately. So, when we do something on purpose, that means that we had some thought before we do it, typically. If we do something deliberate, we've had some thought. So when you become more intentional, and if you notice, I named the group Intentional Growth Club, right? So when you think about intentionality, you want to consider, are you doing this on purpose? Are you deliberately thinking of this or acting on this? So that's intentionality. And there is the other tool I uploaded was the intentionality inventory. And what this tool challenges you to do is it gives you some examples of some intentions you might actually have at this moment, and then rank it between 1 to 5. And those that you ranked a 5 as possible intentions, this is like the person you want to become. Who do you want to become? If you rank this a 5, then slow down long enough to write a paragraph about that. And why are you wanting to become that person? And get really clear on that why. And then that's going to help you become much more intentional in regards to that area of your life. The challenge I have for you right now, or between now and the end of this week, is to name your intention. Actually, I forgot. I put on here before midnight tonight, I want you to come back to this feed and I want you to name your intention. So if you can take the few minutes today to rank your intentions, if what you're going to intend to be is not on this list, put it on the list and rank it a 5, and then write that paragraph around it, and then really get clear on that. And you don't have to give us the story. Just name your intention before midnight tonight. So I'm going to next say thank you very much for joining me for this short presentation on social and emotional intelligence. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see some of our lovely chats and things of that nature. And if I can get back to my screen, that's always good too. So I am here, and so we've got some emotions that have been posted, and I'm so glad for you guys to join me today. And so it looks like I have some joyful, enthusiastic, some worried, stressed, anxious. We've got words that are very reflective of how we're feeling in this moment. We also have calm. That's really what I wanted you to do. Now, I encourage you to go back and use the tool that I've given you, that taking stock of your emotions tool, and make sure that you spend a little bit of energy on figuring out why you're feeling that way. And I know that we globally right now feel this way because of COVID-19 and the pandemic that we're in. But are there other underlying things? Is there something else that's also making you feel that way? We've also been, not just because of the situation we are in globally, but some of us have been alone. That's me. A lot in the last month plus. Some of us have been maybe overwhelmed because we've got a lot of people around us in this last month. And I don't say that with humor. I know sometimes that can be exhausting for people that are more introverts and they really want to get inside their minds and think and process. They might really need the time alone. And to find that space is very important at this point. So thank you all very, very much for showing up live. I love that you did that today. For those of you who showed up live, remember, those of you that are catching this on replay, you have the opportunity to be entered to win the SEEP. And that means you and I get to do that. You do that assessment, and then you and I get to spend some time really digesting what that assessment says. And if you don't feel like you should take the assessment now and you want to push it off for a month or so, that's okay as well. So I want you to still participate, and remember, to be able to get eligible to be entered to win the assessment, you need to post by midnight tonight what your intention is. What's that end point? Who's that person you want to become? In the IGC and the Atomic Books book club that we've been talking in the discussion, that was one of the questions that James Clear posed to us. What are the habits that the person I want to become actually practices? Well, who do you want to become? That's your intention. You know, it doesn't have to be some big lofty thing. Your intention can simply be a small goal that you have for this year. So thank you very much for joining me for this session. I really very much appreciate it. And then I'm going to get off here, and then I'm going to jump back on because we have a prize winner for our week of journaling to figure out who that prize winner is. So come back right away after you see me leave from this one. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow, 10:15. I promise I'll try to be on time.